Everybody's having an amazing time, and you're all just dancing and having a good time. The newest program that they've released is Strong Nation, which is a hit class. There's no dancing in it. And that's where, yeah, that's where Alexander and I met, was in the training. So the strong class is high intensity interval training, but the reason that it's a little different than other hit classes is it's actually perfectly synced to the music. So what they do is they create the routine first and then produce the music to go with the routine. So it's reverse engineered, unlike any other hit classes that you deal with in the gym at this point. So yeah, that's what I do. That's what I love. I love the crazy hit class where you're doing burpees and push-ups and martial arts components and stuff. So
Oh, that's cool because then you don't have to like really like sit there and look at your watch and be like beep 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 and all that stuff with the hit,
yeah.
which drove me nuts because I can never figure it out. I was like, man, why is this timer not working? I can't even, you know, like when I'm supposed to change or stop, or now it's a minute and a half. I'm supposed to sit here for a minute and a half, and then I don't feel like doing anything after a minute and a half. I'm like, all right, I'll just go away, you know. So that's kind of cool because it just keeps on going and it's
Yeah.
per the beats of it, right?
Yes, it's
Cool.
awesome. It's awesome because it's perfectly synced to the music. So the
Right.
music motivates and drives you. And we've been in those classes where the instructor is like giving their personal narrative the whole time. And you're like, dude, can you shut up? Because this music is actually good and I want to hear it. And in Strong, that's what we like to do. We like to let the music lead. Like we're there to coach and guide and everything, but the music is such a huge motivator. And it's cool because a lot of the music that we create is actually built in-house. We do work with some amazing producers, Timbaland, Steve Aoki, Cruella. We've got some awesome people that we've worked with, but a lot of it is in-house and they
Yeah.
do an amazing job. So yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's cool. So you said that, wait, the music's in-house? Like you actually have people that come in and spin?
Well, they create it. So it's the same way like other programs create their content. We have production in-house that will create the content, then the content is released to the instructors.
Oh,
So everything that we play is created in-house at the home office and then released to the instructors to play in their classes. So it's the same music track that
right.
everybody gets. And that's part of what's cool is you can go to different classes right now virtually all over the world and you can hear the same stuff and be doing the same stuff, but just have a different
Right.
instructor. And because you get to bring your personality to it, it feels different, but you still walk in there knowing what you're doing because you've been doing the same stuff in your class anyway. So it's awesome in that way. But yeah, there's not an in-house DJ.
Like
But
corner,
Now
like
my brain,
that would be really cool. That would be really cool.
now my brain is moving like high, like Alex is probably like, oh crap, here we go. So what if we were to like get some super cool DJs, right? Possibly known or whatever the case, right? And since it's all live, on Zoom and stuff like that for these classes now, right? Is that what you guys are doing? What if you got some? Well, we can go into that conversation another time. I got like
We'll
a
circle back.
massive cool
We'll circle
idea.
back. I mean, when we do events, we do have a live DJ there, but
Yeah.
most of the tracks, because we did before COVID, um, we had an event in New York City. And so there was a live DJ there, but the track's already created and laid down for the beats because there are specific sounds that you do a side lunge and there's like a shoo, or you're doing a punch and there's a bass drop or something, so the music is laid down so it accents on the movement.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could totally have a live DJ playing it too.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So wait, okay. So let's roll back here just a second because we just went into a whole lot of stuff. Um, how did you get into fitness? Because this is a lot of information,
Yeah.
and it's
There's
like,
a lot of information.
Eryn, you are a pro, like
Yeah.
definitely
Like,
a pro.
what were you doing when you were little, and how did it transition
How
into
did it translate?
maybe hit?
Well, I've kind of always been active. I started dancing at the age of 2, so little munchkin in the dance studio, like a lot of kids do. I ended up playing soccer as a kid. I played basketball as a kid. What else? T-ball. I just did it all, I didn't play hockey, wanted to play hockey, but my brother played hockey and my parents were like, no, we're not spending that much on equipment for 2 kids. So I didn't get to do hockey, but that's okay. That's okay. I survived. But as I continued to get older, I think my focus on movement, because as a kid, it's just movement, right? Your parents just want you to be active so that you are out of their way, essentially, right? Just go do something, okay? So as I continue to get older, my focus on fitness or on just activity kind of just went away. I was probably like a size 14, 16 in high school. And it came to a point where I remember standing in front of my pantry thinking, why am I even eating right now? Like, I'm not even hungry. I'm just bored. And so that was probably where I would say my health and fitness journey started, was with this acknowledgement of like, food is fuel and we need to fuel our bodies appropriately. And like, if your car is already full, you don't go to the gas station and put more fuel in it. That's why. And so that was kind of where it started. I got into musical theater, met my husband. From there,
Oh, really?
So,
just kind of like brushed over.
No wonder you guys
the room like, oh, thanks, honey.
Yeah, well.
Met my husband, started teaching at a dance studio, and a friend of mine who was at a gym had said, you would really love the Zumba program. And so I have somebody waving at me like, I'm on a meeting. Oh, man. Anyway, I went to this Zumba program and fell in love with it, because I was like, dude, I teach dance all day long. I rehearse for 6 hours a day. This will be no problem. But when you rehearse for 6 hours a day, it's very different from a full straight hour of constant like cardio movement, you know. And it's intermittent training in Zumba. Like a regular Zumba class is intermittent training. So it's high, low, high, high, low, low, you know, it's very sporadic because of the music, but fell in love with it. So took that class in January. That May, I got my Zumba license. I was like, okay, let's go. Started teaching it for the moms at the dance studio. And at my day job, I worked in corporate America. So I taught at my day job during lunches, and then taught at the studio at night, was going to school full time, had 2 kids working full time. Like, it was insane. So made it through somehow. Once I had my 4th kid, my husband and I were like, we are paying, 4 kids. We are paying for one of us to work, and that does not make sense because of childcare costs. So we eventually just said, okay, I'm going to make fitness my full-time thing, and Lord, it's in your hands. Like, you are in control. So so stayed home with the kids, tried homeschooling for a couple years. Not for us. Love my children. Not for us. So this like distance learning thing, I'm like, I feel like you should have asked if we tried homeschooling. Like, it's not a good idea for us. So so started staying home and focusing on fitness and teaching at a couple different local gyms, adding to my my fitness resume, essentially, with Zumba, different formats of Zumba, which is the Strong Nation, which is HIIT, doing yoga training, going through nutritional coaching programs, personal training, just like collecting all the badges and learning everything that I could learn, because I really did love this program. I really did love seeing people get better and seeing people realize that there was so much more than where they were already at, you know. Like, you can move and not be dying every time you move. You are stronger than you think you are, you know. It was just really cool to see that growth in people, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Like, I'm getting goosebumps. I just love it. So that is the really long story of how I got into it.
Do you ever try that rowing thing? Have you seen that? The row house
machine?
The row house things. They do like kind of the HIIT, but it's all on row machines.
I have not tried that. No, that would be interesting.
Right?
Yeah, I was thinking about trying it.
Well, how does that
But now it's kind of like, I don't know if that's happening. You know?
Well, and that's one of the reasons I really like the Strong program, is because everybody's stuck in their homes and people don't have machines typically.
Yeah.
In their homes. And with Strong, you don't need equipment. Like, you need space, music, and an instructor. And if you are a sync member, you already get access to the content, so you can just practice it on your own anyway. So it really is a perfect program for what we're going through right now, because anybody can do it in their home. So it's been great. It's been really great to see. And like I said, international, if you want to take a class from somebody in Argentina, you can take a class from somebody in Argentina.
That's a fact. Yeah.
We could make like plexiglass boxes that are ventilated and throw throw the row machine in there and have like lots of little cubicle boxes.
Alexander's face.
What? What are you saying?
It's like a sweat box, but you know, it's ventilated.
Put a pin in it.
You got your row machine. You could be like this in this little like plexiglass box. It'd be awesome.
We'll circle back to that. We'll circle back to
that. I'm turning red like beef red right now.
Every idea starts somewhere. Every idea.
Eryn just got it down. So, Eryn, how many classes do you do a day?
A day? It's usually about 2 to 3. Usually 2 to 3 classes a day.
Yeah.
I teach Strong Nation every day. And teaching or doing HIIT classes every day is not recommended. It's usually recommended 2 to 3 times a day. But
what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? You know, like, you know, as instructors, you have to be able to adapt so that you can provide what people need. So, and we talk about that sometimes in the trainings about, you know, when people see the program and they love it, and then you go demo it somewhere, we want it here, we want it here, we want it here, and you're like, well, now I'm already maxed. So you have to learn how to coach more so that you're not maxing out your body, but still giving a good class to your participants so that they do max out their body, because they aren't doing it 8 times a week. So so I generally teach 2 to 3 classes a day, and it ranges from strong to mobility and stretching classes, strength with weights, small group training, personal training, yoga classes, Zumba classes. Yeah, it runs the gamut.
Wow.
Now, it's kind of cool because we interviewed another personal trainer, and we heard his story, and I want to ask you the same question because everyone gives a different answer. I mean, the right answer is to say good, but now that we're kind of, she is so weird. She's weirder than Tosh.
Tosh is like,
I know, right?
Tosh.
I know he's gonna see this live. We have one of our hosts that work for the network, and we were he's like this all the time. He's like, yeah, see, he's like just like that. But we asked him because, like, I'm not saying that it's over by no means, but it seems like the reins are getting loosened up a little bit. People are now moving outside of the home. Gyms are starting to open up a little bit more. Throughout the entire process, let's say from January till now, June, what have you noticed, and like what are the changes and adaptations that you've had to put into your own fitness business?
That is a really good question. So as a trainer and instructor, I think we always have to figure out how to adapt because of injuries that we experience, because of overuse with teaching. We have to constantly be able to adapt and reevaluate. Okay, what am I dealing with now? With the class schedule I was teaching in the gym, when the gyms were open, I wasn't having to do as much on my body physically. So I was able to do my own personal workouts where, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. With teaching now, there's a lot more actual classes. I do a lot more strong. I do a lot more actual physically demanding stuff on my body. So I have to focus more now on doing more mobility and stretching stuff right now. Once I go back into the gym, and I don't know what that transition is going to look like, right? Because gyms are open a little bit. And so what does that look like? So do you do only gym classes now, or do we offer virtual and live classes? Right now, we're very blessed that the Zumba home office is allowing virtual classes for Strong Nation and for Zumba and the Zumba specialties. So at this point, I can still teach virtually, and I'm loving it because, again, I get to see people from all over the world. I get people from Peru and Denmark and Australia, and like, it's just really cool to see everybody internationally. But switching back to the gym scenario, I don't even know. Like, I know our gym opened up. I don't know when they're going to call me back or if they're going to call me back, because they've brought some of the instructors back. But what is that going to look like? Because we look at, all right, are we going to have a resurgence in the fall? Is it going to come back? are we going to have to close everything back up again? So I think overall, we have to look at, as trainers, we have to look at where is my body at right now and what am I requiring of it? And what am I able to do training wise personally, where it's not going to debilitate my body and my profession. So, and that's just always, we always have to look at that, because fitness is fickle, and what you're able to do in the gym one week, the next week, the gym may say, no, we're done with that now. So I think we have to be ready to adapt always.
Do you ever get like people ask for one-on-one, like personal training?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, we do. I do personal training, and I honestly am one that I don't think finances should ever be an issue for someone that wants to be healthy, whether it's with nutrition or activity. So if someone asks me for personal training and I give them the rate and they're like, ugh, so, well, if you want to bring some friends along, you can split it. Like, I'm still making my hourly rate. I'm still doing the same thing.
Right.
That's fine by me. So we've been doing that. I've been doing that with a couple gals in the neighborhood, meeting at the park. And yeah, and that works really well. But I don't ever feel like finances should be an issue. And I think that because I mean, 3 years ago, my family was getting their food from a food bank or a food shelf. So the fact that, like, I've been there, I know what that's like. And I don't think that someone should say, I can't be healthy because I can't pay for a trainer or a gym or whatever. I don't think that should ever be an issue.
Right. Well, I think, and I could be wrong, but there we go. But health, can't you write some of it off a little bit?
I think it depends on your insurance, and I don't know tax wise what your, like, it might depend from state to state as to what you can claim as health costs with fitness. But I know as far as insurance goes, some of it you can claim, but it depends on your insurance and it depends on your employer, and yeah.
All right, cool.
Okay. And it's like, the reason why I ask this and kind of get into this is because it's something all trainers are having to deal with. And that's my dog. It's all
not my kids, not my kids.
Right. It's what we all have to deal with right now, and adjusting, like, how do we do business, right? And how do we provide the same value? Like, what is kind of, I guess, like, your mentality? Because I've seen the teacher in you, but not the personal Eryn in you. I want to maybe grow this, or I, like, you know, what's goals on the horizon for you?
I've really liked the virtual element of it, and I didn't think that I really didn't think that I was going to like it, because I like relating and interacting with people. So I had to swallow my pride a little bit and say, yeah, no, I've actually really enjoyed the virtual training. So I think that I will probably try to continue to build the virtual or maintain the virtual element of what I'm doing, instead of, when gyms start opening back up, switching virtual off and going back to one-on-ones or only live. So I think that that's where I will continue to grow it. I don't know that. Yeah, I just don't know the magnitude to what that will look like, because, again, we just don't know what the future holds. But I do know that at this point, I'm a lot more open to continuing virtual training than I was before this all happened. So I am, look for the silver lining. I am grateful for that something I would not have considered, I'm now like, no, it was great. Like, I don't have to travel. When I do trainings for Strong Nation, like, I drive 1 hour to 10, 12 hours to go do the training. And then I have to stay in a hotel and pay for the hotel and pay for the, getting there and food. And it's exhausting. It's so exhausting. So the fact that I can sit at home now, I'm like, okay, time for training. Like, it's fantastic. Again, I miss that face-to-face interaction. I've told my gym members that actually do come to the gym, if I can't hug you in the studio, I don't want to come back to the gym. That's where I'm at. Like, I am a very relational person. So that's why virtual was hard for me to get behind. But there are still communities that are being built. There are still networks that are being supported. And so in that element, I can get behind it. So that's kind of where I think I will continue to look at virtual, depending on the opportunity of live.
Okay. That's a pretty cool mindset, man. And I mean, it's just like, you have a lot to consider. It's like, I haven't even asked you, but what does your husband do? Like, I'm sure it's two completely different things that you guys have to go in on the. She gives that.
He's a nutritionist.
That would be hilarious, right?
No, my husband's actually, he's a teacher, and he teaches at a residential treatment facility for teen boys dealing with substance abuse issues. So he's off now. This is his first week off, and he major props to him. I don't know how he does it. He will be off from now until like the end of July, and then he goes back. So he is a huge supporter. Obviously he would have to be, because we would not be together if this wasn't working out. But it is really hard. Like for him to be, he's working from 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning till 4 or 5 o'clock at night. And then he also teaches karate part-time a couple of days a week. So then he goes and does that. So when the kids are in school and trying to manage 4 kids schooling on top of me teaching my classes and my husband being locked in his office essentially for the day is really hard. So when they go to school, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. But my 13-year-old was doing her homework on her iPhone. She's doing her homework all day long on her iPhone. Like, can we talk about how horrible that is for her posture and her eyes and her everything? For real. Like, yeah. So she's doing her homework on her iPhone. She's incredibly independent, and I'm very grateful for that. But she also has a tendency to massively shut out. So I don't see her all day. And then she's like, at the end of the day. So I have 3 that I'm trying to work with every day to make sure that they get their math done, their reading done, their everything done. And for any parent that has had to social distance and has never had to deal with it before, you need to give yourself a massive pat on the back, because it's shit. All right. It's just shit. Okay. It's awesome that, and the teachers, huge gratitude for them, because they provided content. At least for our school, they provided content for us. But you have to hound your kids for like 3 hours to get them to do 20 minutes worth of work. And it's stupid. Yeah, so it's not in that element of trying to be a mom and manage being a mom with being a fitness professional at that time. And you're in the middle of a class and suddenly your kid's head appears out of the corner of the screen. And you're like, dude, I'm working right now. Mom, can I have cereal? You know how to get cereal. Why are you asking me if you can get cereal? But yeah, so that's been really hard to manage. And the kids have to like learn there are boundaries. You cannot cross these boundaries. And they do well, and then they get a little too comfortable.
Get those like dog collars with the little zapper so they don't get too.
Oh God, bro.
GPS would probably come after me if I tried to do that. They might show up. That's probably who that was trying to come to my door.
I heard about something going on in here.
We had a report. So yeah, it's difficult to manage. I want the kids to go back to school more than anything, but obviously I also want everybody to be safe. So what are you gonna do?
They need that anyways because of the friends and everything, you know, like yeah, it's like
for sure.
So
it's crazy. Parents, you guys have it the most challenging. What would you say is the thing that you found out about yourself and about yourself as a parent through all this?
Oh.
I used to be a huge perfectionist, and as a parent, that has definitely gone away. I like to have things controlled. I like to know what's going to happen and do it when it's going to happen. And control is a huge issue of mine. Having kids, you do not get to control anything. And I think even without kids, the sooner we realize that the only thing we can control is how we respond to something, the better, because there is nothing that you can control in this world except for your own actions. So I think that was probably the biggest thing that I've learned as a parent was just, you need to let it go. Like, just let it go. And in our home, laughter is always the best. Like, we try to default to laughter all the time because it makes things just better. Like, stupid stuff, just laugh it off. So I think that as a parent has been really helpful. I am still working on I'm probably the least patient person in the world. I really feel like I am. So that is something I am still working on. Trying lots of deep breaths and lots of laughter.
I love it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You get the real side of her because you got 4.
Yeah, four's a juggle there, I bet.
Really wanted to try my
you got
patience.
dogs too, right? Or you
What?
you have
No,
dogs?
no animals. No.
Okay, good.
The kids are asking for a dog. We recently moved and they've been asking for a dog. And I'm like, why do you hate me? Nothing against dogs. I'm just like, I'm already taking care of 4 kids. I don't need another animal.
Oh, man. So what's your favorite pastime? I mean, now that you got them all at home, and what do you guys do besides stay at home? I'm sure you have to get out and do stuff, right?
We, so like I said, we recently moved, April, we moved into the house we're currently in, and we now have our own bonfire. We're like 2 blocks from downtown. Now, you guys, this is the best thing ever. So the town that we live in now, we don't have a mailbox because in our town, it is illegal to have a mailbox within a quarter of a mile of the post office.
Only in Minnesota.
Wait a second. So you got to go like,
we were like, what?
mail?
That's a thing? So
Uber to pick up my mail, please.
we have to, well, we could drive, but we have to go to the post office, and we have a PO box at the post office where our mail gets delivered to. Okay. So, but it was just so weird because we were both like, so do they just like deliver it to our door? Like, where does the mail go? And yeah, she said our city is so small that they do not have mailboxes for us yet. So they're hoping that this year with the census, we finally made it over the population mark.
You got like one of those little drive-up like milk stores.
Milkman that delivers the milk in glass bottles. We do not have that.
Oh, you don't have that?
We probably could. I do see the Schwann's man quite frequently, so maybe he does. I don't know.
What man?
The Schwann's man. You don't know Schwann's?
No. Andy, what's the Schwann's man? You're from Chicago. What's the Schwann's man?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's like before food delivery was like Uber Eats and stuff, or like the grocery stuff. What is it? Ship It. Schwann's has like.
Okay, Ship It. You guys don't have Uber Eats?
We have Uber Eats, but Uber Eats is like fast food or restaurant or whatever. Schwann's is like
Schwann's is like
frozen foods and like ice cream and like whatever. It's like grocery.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Schwann sounds like a Jewish guy that just kind of like runs around.
For your
I wasn't the only one thinking that.
For the gas, do you have to like crank the thing? Just wondering. Is the little guy come out? Hi.
Yeah, right.
Can I wash your windows for you?
We actually don't have cars. We only have horses.
Word, homie. Word. That's crazy.
One schoolhouse.
Yeah.
Is there a moat around your town? Just wondering.
A moat?
Or the drawbridge.
This is the Renaissance, homie. She's not Rapunzel. King Lear is going to come out of nowhere because apparently tends to be with timelines.
I don't know why.
I didn't just move towns. I traveled back in time as well, apparently.
No, I'm like, what?
No wonder it's so fun over there with 4 kids and no mailbox. We gotta go to the next town over to get our mail. For some reason, they don't allow mail in this town.
Anyway, so the kids like going downtown to Main Street.
Which is
there's an Italian ice place down there too, so they'll get Italian ice, and it was really small town. It's so small town, guys. Like, let's go to the grocery store.
Is it really classic looking, like your downtown?
It's kind of a mix. It's kind of a mix of buildings. Like we've got like a furniture place where they redo stuff, and we've got a Chinese restaurant, and we've got a Italian bistro, and a coffee place, an automotive place, a liquor store, of course.
You notice how she says A? That means there's one of each.
Yes, one.
Everyone has the same car.
It's all trucks. No.
Actually, kind of cool. I kind of like it back in the day, you know?
It's you guys, it's really cute. It's really quaint. Obviously, it's just really funny to explain to people because like it's so small town.
Which is crazy because talking to you, like I would never. I don't know. There might be because
Thinking she's in Cali.
Huh?
I keep thinking she's in Cali. I just keep forgetting she's
right.
over.
That's what I'm saying. Like I would not expect Eryn to be from small town. Like you just don't give off that vibe of that Midwesterner. Like
Yeah.
I just want to find my dreams and I hope I make it. You know, like she's like, yo, bro. Okay, let's sit back. Let's talk. What's going on? What's the deal? What's the deal?
What's the deal?
What's the deal? Is anybody else in your family into fitness like you are?
So my husband does martial arts. My brother used to do, like I said, he used to play hockey. He was actually in the Navy for 4 years. So there's that. And he was a massive gym rat. He ended up having, he got in a car accident. And so his hip got like massively destroyed. So he still works out, but it just has to be very different now. So I'll ask him to come to like strong class and he's like, nope. So he does lifting, which is, cool. So he lifts. My husband does karate. My kids will sometimes join me in class and then they're like, but yeah, it wasn't a thing my parents did. My parents never did it. They didn't join a gym. They didn't go for runs. They didn't work out. Like my mom would go in phases of, I'm so fat, I need to get into shape. And that would last like a month and then she'd be over it. But that was it. Like it was so that was it.
Was it crazy like telling them, hey, yo, like I'm gonna do this for a living, like, and I really enjoy it? I don't know. I have this idea of when people have to go to their family and you're giving them a foreign concept and you're like, yeah, and I'm gonna make money at it. Did they look at you crazy?
Like, well, I think because of the way that I was able to like slowly transition into it, I don't think it was as much of a shock because, it was a part-time job. Teaching Zumba at the gym was a part-time job after my regular work. So it was like, oh, cool, she's got a hobby, and then, and it made sense when we looked at it to say, when I quit, they were like, well, yeah, if you're paying more money, it wasn't like I was quitting to do fitness. It was like I was quitting because it was costing us money to do daycare. So it kind of like swept under the rug. Nobody needs to know what the real reason is. No. So I don't think it was, and everybody that's known me, like growing up and has seen me now, when they see me teach or they see me doing my job, they're like, yes, this is what you were made to do. And for me, that like, for anybody to say that to somebody who's enjoying, like, I love what I do. I absolutely love what I do. And I'm so grateful that I get to do it. So when somebody who knew me growing up and sees what I'm doing and says, yes, this is what you were supposed to be doing your whole life, you're just like, affirmation. Yes, I love that. Thank you for confirming that I do in fact love my job. And it's not always, we know it's not always sunshine and roses. Like this morning I had to teach at 8:30 this morning, which is not early. I'm not complaining about that.
That's early.
But it's not that early. But I was just like, I'm so tired and I don't want to do this. And I just want to take a nap and I just want to keep sleeping or just stay curled up in my chair and drink my coffee. But I have said it a million times and I will say it a million more. There have been plenty of classes that I have not wanted to teach, but there has not been one I've regretted teaching.
That's cool.
I like it.
Yeah.
So it may take everything that I have to press play, but as soon as I press play, I'm like, we got this. Let's go.
She got her whoop. She's got her whoop.
Huh? What?
That is a whoop. Do you have a whoop?
I have a whoop.
Yeah!
Oh!
Let's see where I'm at. My recovery last night was fantastic. So I
know
like, man, I feel left out. What the hell's a whoop? I gotta find my. Oh, that's awesome.
I know.
Yeah, I gotta find my charger. I lost it.
Hey.
The charger's here somewhere. I gotta find it.
It's amazing. It's amazing, you guys. Especially for fitness professionals, the Whoop is fantastic because it helps measure your strain and your recovery so that you can train optimally instead of completely wearing yourself down. So like my performance assessment for last week, and it'll look at your strain. So like cardiovascularly, what's the strain on your body? And it'll look at your sleep, how you've been sleeping, and it'll tell you if you're overperforming. So like I'm sustaining. I could have gotten a little bit more rest and I would have been training optimally. So like better gains instead of just like, you're just kind of getting by. But it's really cool. And the studies that Whoop does is amazing because they've been using some of their input to help with COVID diagnosis and recovery.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have so many studies that they do, and they look at the relation of cardio exercise and how it impacts dementia and Alzheimer's. And like the studies these guys do are just like, what? It's amazing. I like, everybody get a Whoop. Use my code. It's 10% off.
Yeah, no, the Whoop thing's really cool.
I love it. Just plug that right there. That was cute.
It's just such an awesome tool. It's just really an awesome tool. I love it. There's no like, the face doesn't have anything on it, but you can look at, it still tracks your activity, and you can look at the calories burned for the activity, what your max heart rate was, average heart rate, how long it was. I mean, yeah.
It's awesome for you because of the high intensity. It's like crazy.
Yeah. And the exercises, the types of activities that you can have. I love some of it makes me laugh. I mean, there's, you know, baseball, basketball, boxing. You can put caddying. Like, did you caddy? How is that an activity you need to track? Australian football, climbing, coaching. I spent an hour coaching and I need to track that as an activity. What do you do when you coach?
So I got something for you since you're constantly go, work. So now after this is all over, what's your were you gonna go travel anywhere before all this happened? Or what would be like your place to go if this, when this is over or whatever?
Well, most of the traveling that I get to do is in the Midwest of the US, because that's the territory that I manage for Strong Nation. I love, for Strong, we go down to Miami twice a year. Once for a master trainer meeting and then once for a conference, which the conference got canceled this year. So I love Florida, but I don't think so this is going to be weird. I'm probably going to get in trouble. The only place I've ever gone where I thought, man, I don't need to come back here was Paris.
Oh.
Really? I don't know if like the buildup was so amazing that when I got there, I was like, I mean, it's fine, but it's okay. I love London. I love London, and I would love to see the countryside there. I would love to go to, I've been to Iceland, but I was there for like 6 hours on a layover, and then I had to leave.
The lights in the air or whatever.
Oh my gosh, just everything there would be really cool to see because it's so beautiful. Yeah. I would love to go to Ireland. I would love to go everywhere. World tour would be great.
How do we go from Miami to like Ireland and London? I'm just trying to figure that one out. I'm gonna get in real big trouble. I was in Miami, but I would really love to be stuck in London and Paris. I'm like, yeah, there's a big gap between those two.
I think I just love experiencing different cultures. And especially when you know people that live in the spaces, because you get to actually see what the culture is like. Like when you go as a tourist, there's like this facade that's there, right? That you see the touristy things. You don't actually get to see how the city functions and how the people are. So when my husband and I went to London, we were there for 2 weeks for a friend's wedding. And we said, we're not going to do touristy stuff. We want to like walk the streets of London and go just go through the city and feel what it's like to be there. And it was just wonderful. It was just wonderful. Like we walked by Westminster Abbey. We walked by the Eye of London, but we didn't go into it. We didn't, the only thing that we did, because we're theater geeks, is we went to the Globe. I mean, you gotta like, and we saw a Shakespearean play at the Globe. Like we just had to because we're theater geeks. But we loved it. And so every time we go somewhere, I like being part of the culture that's there. I like being with the people that live there and like, show me what you do. You live here. Where do you go eat? I don't want to go to, you know, the restaurants that are like for the tourists. I want to go where the people that live here eat. Where do you go? And not McDonald's.
Yeah, that's how you gotta do it, is go off the track of the usual. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
You seem like just like so not just your energy, because that's very obvious, but just like the willingness to like want to go and be thrown in an adventure. Where does that come from? Because most people, I always say, most people lose that childhood, just like let me just be free type of mentality when they become adults. Like, what is that with you?
I think, and it's weird because, right, like I had massive control issues. So I'm like, no, I need to know everything. I need to be in control of everything. And I think several years ago, my husband lost his job and we had to short sale our home. And he went back to school, became a teacher. He got hired. He was let go the end of that year. The next year he got hired. He was let go the end of that year. The third year he was a teacher, he subbed the whole year. So every day we would wake up and say, okay, Lord, provide for us today. And so I think it was like 6 years that we went through this. Do you have a job this year? No, you don't have a job this year. Do you have a job today? No, you don't. Okay, you have. Every day we woke up through that year of subbing, he had a job every day. So I think, honestly, it just comes from a place of like, Lord, you created this big, huge earth and you created all these beautiful cultures. And I am one person in one location. And there is so much more for me to see and so many more people for me to meet that I want to see the beauty that you have created. And I can't do that living in my controlled area. I just can't. So I think it just comes from a love of wanting to know and wanting to just see it all, you know, like I'm not going to be able to understand it all because you can't unless you've walked a mile in someone else's shoes. But I do want to be there with people. Like I want to experience it. And again, I'm one person in one small part of the world and this world is huge. So there's just so much beauty to see. There's just so much beauty to see.
Gratitude.
Yeah, for real, right? That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, I think your household just in general has like massive like awesome karma, you know, because your husband is what he trains and teaches us kids just for one, and then you're helping multiples of people constantly get healthy and feel good about themselves. And then you got the 4 kids that you're running around and juggling and everything. I mean, just that alone, I think that traveling is just probably epic, you know, just wherever you guys go,
Yeah.
you know, and whatever you see and do.
We'll do a world tour at some point.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But like the world in, what is it, like 72 days?
I'd like to go everywhere. I've been to a lot, but
that's just like Kyle and I talk about, okay, so when the kids are done and in college, we are not going to be the parents that stay. We are going to be the parents that sell their house and we go through the hostels traveling the world.
yeah.
You can't come home, guys. Sorry.
You could have your vlogging channel and just be like, here we are today. This,
because we didn't do it when we were younger. Like we got married. I was 21 when we got married, and we had kids right away. So it was like, okay, well, we'll be the young people that all their kids are gone, and we're gonna go travel because we didn't do it when we were younger, and a lot of our friends did, and that's cool. We just did it in reverse. So
you got it out of the way. Now you're good, somewhat, right?
Yeah, halfway. We're getting there.
Halfway there.
Our first teenager, and now we've got 2 in middle school. So we're like, okay, here we go.
Like we're getting there.
We're almost there. Just keep going. Just keep going.
Stocks are going up.
Mom, I just want to stay home.
Investments, it's gonna work.
Woosah.
That's freaking funny, Hobie. Like, I love it, Eryn. Always positive, upbeat attitude. How do you keep that up? You have 4 kids in chaos. We're in a pandemic, and you're a teacher who's never done virtual training before, but yet you have clients who you teach in Peru.
Yeah, it's cool, right? It's really cool.
Yeah.
Trying to learn Spanish, not very good at it. But you know, I think that that's really just what it is there's so much more. Like, I dealt with depression and still do deal with depression and anxiety. Like, it's not like it doesn't exist. I was hospitalized when I was in high school for a suicide attempt. And I think realizing, like, you can live, if you've never read The Bell Jar, and you've dealt with depression, be careful, but I would highly recommend it, because there is this element of living in this oppression. And when you're dealing with, at least in my experience, everybody is different. In my experience, dealing with depression, so many people tried to help me, but until I was ready to say, no, this does not get to control me, I'm not going to allow this to rule my life anymore. So there are still days where I mean, Kyle will tell you, my husband will tell you, like, she's on edge. And I go like manic cleaning mode, or I'll lose my temper. The kids will be like, oh, Hulk mom is coming out. So it's not like, again, it's not always sunshine and roses, but finding the silver lining, or finding the joy in the moment. Like, yes, COVID sucks, but I didn't have to travel. I actually got to be home with my family instead. I got to save that money that I would have spent on hotels and extra food and all the travel. And I still get to do my job and still meet people, not only from my territory, but now from all over the world. So yeah, COVID sucks, but look what it's done. You know, like, there are ways that you can always have a different perspective on things. And you know that if you have one situation, you hear totally different sides of the story. So I think we have to remember, like, that there is a negative side to it, but there is always a positive side too. And sometimes you need to sit in that wallow of like, yeah, it sucks. And sometimes you need to just say, okay, I've done that. Let yourself grieve over the situation, but I can do better. We can do better. There is a positive to it. So I think that is huge, because I've sat in the trenches. I've sat in the mud and the yuck and the gross, and I don't want to do it again.
Right. Wow.
That's pretty awesome.
And a lot of exercise endorphins.
You gotta just like throw that in there.
Because exercise makes you happy.
I see.
I flippin' love it, girl. So what is your favorite to teach? Do you like doing more one-on-one? Are you like, yo, I love group classes? Or, yo, I just like teaching people how to do the classes?
Oh, God, that's a really good question, because there's benefits to everything, right? I like, with one-on-ones, I like being able to give people my undivided attention and let them know, like, pour everything into them, because it makes people feel so special, right? You're giving me everything. Well, yeah. With small groups, I like seeing the community building in small groups when I do small group trainings, and them feeding off each other. And it's horrible, but as a personal trainer, my goal is to make you realize you don't need me. It's a really bad business model, but it's true. But when you have a small group and they start to realize how strong they are together, and I'm there to support you, absolutely, and I will always be there to support you, especially if you want to pay me. I love that. But them building on each other and finding that strength within each other is so amazing. With teaching trainings, I love to see the passion of other instructors when I'm teaching the trainings, and them just light up because of what they get to do, and be reminded of why they got into fitness in the first place. Alexander, I hope that during the training that was kind of evident, that like, when you decide to be in fitness, whether it's as an instructor or a personal trainer, your goal is always to help people and hopefully put yourself in a position of serving, because that's what you're doing. You're there to help people realize that they can do better, that they are better, that they're good as they are. But I'm not going to let you stay there, because you have so much more potential within yourself. So yes, there are just, I'm getting goosebumps again. There's just so much. There's just so much with each thing that I love, that other elements I don't get to, if I'm doing personal training, I don't get to see that as much as when I'm doing the instructor trainings. I don't get to see that passion and inspiration from the instructors. You know, I get to pour into the one person. So it's a really hard question because I like it all. And I think teaching, I like teaching Strong Nation, and then I like teaching a restorative class after, because Strong pushes them to the breaking point. And then with the restorative yoga class, they just like it's almost like in between, their spirit just broke and they're just like ready to be put back together. Like I killed myself physically and didn't think that I could do it. And now we're going to put everything back together and help you see that you can do it again. And you don't have to do it alone, because it is a small group class, you know, it's a group fitness class. You have a community that's here to help you. So I think that's my favorite, is teaching. When I'm teaching, I like teaching Strong and then a restorative class after, because I really do feel like it serves the whole body, mind, body, soul. And I love that.
Damn, man, that's freaking awesome. That's just a first. That's a first. Like, we just have so many different conversations. We've interviewed like 4 fitness professionals, and each person has given a different answer on how they view, act, and execute on their business and mindset. Like, that's just incredible. You know, I got something from that. Andy, I hope you did.
Oh yeah, like I didn't even know about half of that. I'm about to get into this Antarctica class, Zumba HIIT class after this. I'm gonna go look it up on.
Oh man. Oh yeah. So this is actually a good question for trainers out there, if they're watching it, because we do have a lot of trainers who are in our subscribers. How do they even like market? How do they become this Strong Nation instructor?
Oh, sure. That's an easy one. So you can go to strongnation.com and click on trainings. Da, da, da. It's that easy. There is a 30% off coupon right now. You can use coupon. That's Minnesota. Discount. I said it. If you use the code Eryn, ERYN 30S, that gets you 30% off. It's our 4th birthday this month. The program is only 4 years old, you guys, and it's in over oh shoot, now I can't remember. I know after 2 years it was like 160 countries or something. There's so many classes. I won't call out other names. I'm not going to say any other programs. But it's surpassed some other programs that have been around longer. But Eryn, ERYN 30S gets you 30% off. You can train with me, or you can train with somebody else in the awesome. Thank you. Somebody else in the world. As long as the time zone works and you speak the language, you guys can train with whoever you want to. It's a great program. Like I said, it's wonderful for people still stuck at home. It's great for going back to the gyms right now too, because you don't need any equipment, so you have less to clean and your participants have less to clean. It is HIIT, so there is that. And then as far as marketing, you guys can use, when you register with Sync, which is how you get your content every month, like every other fitness program, that's how it works. There are marketing tools that you can use with that. Social media, you can obviously do, working with your local communities, doing classes outside, all of those wonderful things. I am a marketing major and hate marketing. So that's very interesting. But I just don't, I'm like, here it is. Just do with it what you want. But yeah, social media, Instagram, TikTok. We've got an amazing instructor, a master trainer, Nate Offer, is on TikTok, and he does some really fun to the beat challenges with yes, you guys. So
he put like some hip hop in there, and he was like,
oh my god,
it was cool.
Yeah, you guys follow Nate Offer. All of our whole master trainer team is amazing. It is such a fantastic team. I would give you all of them if I could. Nate Offer is just really fun on TikTok. I feel like I'm too old for TikTok.
No, what?
Too old for TikTok? Why? TikTok.
Oh, Minnesota, I thought you were weird. He just went, yo, too old for TikTok?
Oh my gosh. I do feel like I'm too old for TikTok. I feel like that when I'm on TikTok. I feel like I'm like
me on Whoop.
I don't mess with
looking for the Antarctica hit class.
The Antarctica hit class.
Stick with that.
It's international.
I'm
So,
joking.
wherever.
And I mean, it's working for you though, the way that you're marketing it, you know.
Yeah.
There's me. Check it
Wow!
out.
Oh my gosh!
Thanks, Alex.
You're welcome.
That's amazing.
He's actually the reason why I signed up for Strong. I saw that and I was like, it would be great to be able to give more to different clients worldwide.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, they just contact you over social media and they go, hey, Eryn, I'd love to be in your class. How much does it cost?
Yep. Yeah. And it's I'm super eloquent. It's great because you can take classes with anybody internationally. My classes, it's a $5 drop-in rate for the day or for the class, and then $20 for the week. So you can take as many classes as you want, all of the classes. I am working with several other master trainers from Chile, New Jersey, Nate, and Miami, Brazil, Australia. We're all working together, and we have what we're calling it virtually limitless. You pay $25, $30 for all of the classes with any of us, and you get to go to as many as you want again. So yeah, if you wanted to come to one of my classes, just reach out to me, $5 for the class, and I'll get you the information. They're all over Zoom, just like everybody else in the world. But yeah, they're super fun. Like I said, we've got Zumba, we've got Strong Nation, we've got mobility and stretching classes, we've got strength classes. If you wanted virtually limitless with Nate, Aurelio, Christy, Anna, Amanda, and Jared, we have lots of different versions of lots of different things because there are so many other instructors as well. But yeah, just reach out and I can get you the information.
That's dope. That is freaking dope, homie. I am so glad to have you on board here and just talking to us. Can you say one last thing for me?
I'll do my best.
So one thing I've gotten like a ton of is I don't have time for fitness. I'm so depressed. I'm so far back. I'm stuck at home. I mean, it just ranges the gamut, right? It starts to blend together. What is your thing when you get up in the morning that says, I used to be a size 16 and now I'm here? You can do the same thing regardless of how busy, regardless of how depressed. Like you have been on all levels. What is that thing that you can tell those people that they can do every morning?
One thing. No, that's just mean. Oh, you guys, you can. But you can. I think for everything that you say, I can't, or I have too much, or whatever, but you can. You really, really can. It is within you to do it. And just as much as you say you can't, you have the opportunity to say you can. It goes back to that. You can choose to look at the negative side, or you can choose to look at the positive side. And the only way you're going to continue to look at the positive side is if you make that habit to look at the positive side. Okay, instead of turning to the left, keep turning to the right. All right, that I can. Every time you say, no, I can, and I will over and over. 5 minutes is better than 0. 10 is better than 5. Whatever you gave it yesterday, just give it a little more. You can.
That's good.
Yeah, right.
See? He thought the one answer was gonna be horrible, and then you just killed it.
That was a mic drop.
Because you can.
Because you can. Because you can.
I love that. Andy, do you have any last questions for Miss Eryn? Because that was beautiful. That was eloquent.
It's awesome. It was great meeting you and hearing about all this, and now having more knowledge on stuff.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I feel so honored that I was able to be here with you guys. You guys are hilarious. Of course, I love it.
Oh man.
Have fun. How about that nowadays?